Welcome to the Burning Pallets Podcast, sponsored by Texsource. Here's your host, Ryan Bolin.
What's going on, guys? Ryan here with Burning Pallets Podcast. It's been a while. To my right, left, whatever you see is Mike Hoey, the number 1.5 in the podcast.
Yeah, here I am.
It's been a while. We've been kind of MIA. I guess because of me and Mike, we both been traveling. I mean, I've been literally traveling for the past 2 months every single week to different shops and or a vacation, or it's July 4th, so everybody's going during July 4th. And
I can't even think of the last time we did.
It's been a long time. I mean,
March,
April time frame. It's been a while since we've done one. We've been busy. You get into the busy season at screen printing, and then you slack off during July 4th week, and you have a 2-week span where you're just kind of in limbo. So I'm sure everybody out there knows, all the screen printers understand that it's April, May, mad rush, even March. The industry's changing a little bit. It seemed like it was just a mad rush entire, kind of like January all the way to July, when typically you have a little bit of a small break in there. But a lot of the customers that I visited and talked to were saying that they were busy throughout the entire first part of the year, which is kind of abnormal for some of them.
Yeah, it's to this day it's still unpredictable, I think.
Because COVID threw a wrench and now everybody's just whatever. But prior to that, you had a pretty set schedule of your breaks.
Yeah, we're definitely, the industry is changing right before our eyes, and
timelines and equipment and how the industry's changing. But it's been a busy year.
Yeah, for sure.
We've been MIA, but trying to get back in the studio doing more of these. We had a guest lined up, but because of what is it? The cyber crap?
Yeah,
some sort of Microsoft issue. They've got like 2 separate things. It's canceled flights.
Worldwide, by the way.
Yeah, all flights are canceled. So where are we at? In middle of July? Almost third week in July. It'll give you a little time frame in the podcast that, this is the Friday where all flights were canceled. And so our guy who was supposed to be here today actually just immediately took off because he had to rent a car and drive 10, 12 hours back home.
Yeah, and it was going to be a good podcast to have him on here, because he's a guy that is a sales guy for the Indiana branch.
Texsource Indiana branch, and he's been around the block with the rocks, auto presses, and apparently one of the first ones with the S-Rock. And
yeah, he had some stories to tell, but here's a industry guy that is on this side now, and that's benefiting his customers, is because he knows the stuff. He's been in the trenches. So we always like to see that in our industry on this side.
Yeah.
There's so many that haven't, had that exposure, I guess, and have to learn it from the inside of this side of the business.
I mean, most salesmen come from the screen printing background.
Yeah, they have.
Sorry, not screen printing background, actual in the production side.
Yeah, they have something going on. Regardless, if you're involved with Texsource at any level at all, you've probably seen that we're finally rolling out into the digital age here after a lot of work and behind the scenes to try to find a solution for our customers on this DTF.
The DTF, yeah. We could have jumped straight in, but it would have been a disservice to any customer that follows us and buys from us. Everybody else, a lot of competitors jump straight in, and you surf the web late nights, all hour of the nights, talking to people with the Q&As, T-shirt forums, and they all are pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And you see all the problems.
And I think that, the best analogy, or the best way that I can describe it, we all know that all these machines have the same parts. They look different, but they're using the same head most generally. the Epson heads, but it's really the service side and how well can you marry up your products, the consumables, the PET film, the powder, and the ink.
Take it one step further. How well does your salesman know? How well does a person that's selling you this piece of equipment know it? A lot of salesmen are learning the DTFs, whether it be Texsource or NASDAR or whoever it is. But if the salesman knows the DTF, and knows the parts inside of it, and can take stuff apart, it's going to help the customer a lot better.
Yeah, and I think that it feels like we're late to the game, but I know
on purpose.
Yeah,
on purpose, because we did not want to screw up. We didn't want to jump straight into this Chinese machine, which everybody sells, even the Quattro's Chinese. I mean, so we did not jump straight in. We dragged our feet on purpose so that we would not come out with something that would cause us problems with our customers later on at a point. So I think we're now at a point, not at a point, we are past that point where we've got the DTFs in and we're pushing them and we can service them. You have the videos that you're going to be putting out, maintenance, service, support. So I think it puts us a step ahead of most people. I mean,
well, you get to, it's not who does it first, who does it best. I mean, that's always been something in business. And in other words, like Apple never had the first MP3 player. They didn't have the first smartphone, but where you watch and see where the mistakes are being made, and then you can gather that intel and come back. And believe me, this has been tough for us because, we were looking at, 3-4 different, scenarios before we arrived on this one.
Talking about not first, but best. GoPro was one of those. GoPro had that same deal going on, and I don't know if they were first, and then they had someone else come out and trying to beat them, and the other competitor was doing pretty good. Anyways, first, best, GoPro was another one of those guys.
Yeah, and so that's I think that was our mentality from the start, is that we have to sell something that we feel comfortable about supporting, and then educating the customer, which is kind of, Texsource's whole mantra is, if the customer is educated, that'll help them be more successful, because we don't want to sell them a boat anchor. And that's where tons of these are, because we already have people within our sales staff that call me all the time and said, okay, can we fix their machine? And we're not to that point yet. We, obviously there's a lot of people out there that, they made an investment and they're not getting a return on that. So
it's a fun little machine though. After digging around, playing with the heads and the dampers and getting to mess with it, it's simple. I think it's simple. It's fun. Install part is a little difficult because it's a heavy ass piece of machinery, so you got to have some help getting that set up. But I mean, I think it's a one-man job, set up, roll through.
Yeah. And where other people have missed the boat is not preparing the customer. That's, I know, stuff that Adam's working on right now. All this behind the scenes stuff is really the bulk of it. It's really not the machine and the install, but it's all of this support apparatus, so that, when you buy one, you're going to have to create the environment, and we're going to tell you what that environment is that's going to be best suited to keep your machine running.
Well, print it wherever you want. I mean, it's simple.
Yeah. And then if you put that in a good environment and you keep it's like a car. If we can sell you a car, but if you never change the oil, then you
definitely don't want to eat around it, probably. Because I brought food in there the other day when we were messing around with it, and we didn't have it completely ventilated.
Yeah.
And I know my chicken just got raped by all that crap.
Smoky chicken.
Yeah. And I ate a couple more bites of it, and then I started thinking to myself, I feel weird or not, and I just got in my head.
Yeah.
So,
it's sort of like finding a roach in your motel. Once it's there, you can't get rid of it.
God. Even that carbon monoxide deal that I told you about, we had that carpet cleaner come to my house. The garage door was open. The carpet cleaners ran by the van. Long story short, had fire department, carbon monoxide alarms going off, kicked out of the house 4 or 5 hours. They went back through, cleaned us out. They said, "Oh, your house is good to go again." And we had like 70 parts per million of the carbon monoxide in this house. What I'm getting at is, I started thinking afterwards, like, I wasn't even in here, but now I'm starting to feel weird. Is there stuff still here? So I got in my own head.
Yeah. You definitely want to vent it out. That's for sure.
But that's another thing. But so on to back to the salesman from Indiana. His name's Anthony, right? Not Anthony.
Yeah,
it's
no
Anthony.
H. Yeah.
Anthony.
Or his friends call him Ant.
Ant. And you said he had one of the first S-Rocks. I mean, that had to be 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, he ran that thing for years.
Was it his own shop?
Yeah. Yeah. And, back then he said there was no support whatsoever for those. He did like the, the design and the simplicity of the design. And, but he really got to find out over years, like, where are the weak spots on this, or what are the good, what are the bad. And a lot of people talk about our Copperhead, saying, "Oh, it's a Rock knockoff or whatever." And I don't even think that Rock was the first to have that style of press. I don't want to like throw a name out there without double checking, but that design with that centrifuge, they weren't the first to come up with it. Once again, who does it best, not who does it first.
Yeah.
But then he sold one of the Copperheads, and so he said that on the install and like training the customer, I mean, it was exactly what he was used to as far as.
So he's got a good understanding and the training.
Yeah, and
the Copperheads.
Yeah, and what he said, and I said, "So, what's the biggest asset about this?" And he said, "Oh, it's the price. What you can get this press for, and what it can do."
Yeah.
And then because you sell an auto press to someone, if they've never run an auto, you're going to go through that learning curve of learning all the dynamics of pressure and all that. Mm-hmm. He said that the Copperhead, is much easier for the first time auto buyer to use. And that's why, that's something that he's bringing, to his customers.
That's pretty good. On the DTF, one thing I was wanting to cover was obviously if you print the film out, you go to heat press. Is there a big deal between hot and cold peel with this?
I think it's a preference. Some of the people that print them for other people will let them choose between hot peel and cold peel.
Hot peel film and cold peel film.
Correct. And the general consensus on cold peel is if you're a beginner, then you would use cold peel. And that means you're buying transfers.
Yeah.
And you're a beginner. But everybody's got their own preference. I like, it's hard for me.
I just want to peel the bitch, keep moving. I don't care what it is.
And that's what most people say. And I think that's why we, have this hot peel film. And when we did it yesterday, I was even scared. I'm like, is it going to, everybody that's done transfers, plastisol transfers, they've peeled up. And even vinyl cut, when you press that, they've peeled up and they watch the edges lift up and fall back down.
Yeah.
And that's the fear.
Yeah.
You want to do all of this, but yeah, the first presses that come off of our demo model here, I was like, okay, you guys had already pressed some. I walked down here and they're like, oh, let's, do a couple, and pop, peel, boom, perfect. But I think that's what most people want.
So hot peel film, I can still cold peel it.
I need to do some testing to say like, okay, we're going to leave this sit over here an hour and see if but I don't see the film like being stuck on there. I just
don't
can't
ever
see
see it. That's why I'm bringing this up, because
Yeah.
hot pill, cold. I mean, again, I'm just running my mouth, but hot pill and cold pill. I think you can take the hot pill film and peel it cold. I think do the cold pill film and just rip it off right when you pop it off the heat press.
I wouldn't try that, but I mean we could, you know, the ink, the film's different on the hot peel and the cold peel.
Price difference, you will know, is hot pill more expensive or cold pill more expensive?
I mean they're all around, you know, in the same ballpark.
It's like having 40 different whites. Just give us a freaking film and just be
well. That's why we have the one. I think we're looking at an you know, another one that we're always going to test.
Yeah,
and then you know, this was the biggest part of this, was coming up with the right machine, film, powder, ink scenario, because we don't want people to have to worry about all of the baggage that comes with this, like dialing in their color. And that's a project we'll be working on today, is dialing in the color and creating the profile for the ink system that we're selling to our customers.
We want it to be simple and easy, because screen printing or DTFing or whatever you're doing out there is not always simple. We try and take all the problems, all the hard work, and just put it in somebody's lap and say, do this, 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 and this, and it's going to work. We want to make it simple for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what we've always done at Texsource, is try and make it as simple as possible for the customer.
Yeah. And then from there, you know, it's the experience and how that fits into your business, which that's a whole podcast on how screen printers need to leverage this technology. And lots of our customers, they're talking about this all the time. You know, the salesmen are like, when can we sell them? When can we sell them? So we've let the wild horses, you know, out of the gate.
We try and make it simple. We try and do all the hard work, lead work on our side to make it simple for the customer, so that they're not coming back to us asking a shitload of questions, that we already have taken all those questions out and answered them for you by giving you this great DTF or this white ink or a chemical or.
Yeah. And in the end, that is, like I said, that education side of
less bullshit for us.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And for the customer, hopefully. Right.
Yeah. Less headaches.
Yeah. People have rolled the dice. People have got these machines. They try to switch up the inks all the time. And I'm just going to say it's true in screen printing too. If you go and you search the world for the cheapest white ink, it's not going to be the best white ink.
It's going to be the Speedball.
Yeah, yeah.
At Hobby Lobby.
And that's the first thing that I tell
Amazon.
people when they, you know, we get calls all the time, and a lot of them are directed at me, especially with you on the road so much. Why am I having these issues? The first thing I say is, you know, I get all the stuff from them. What's your mesh count? You know, what are all these things? But what inks are you using? And if you can just get someone to realize that you know, there's a soft middle in there where you don't have to break the bank to get a good white ink. But if you go on the cheapest end and then you're wondering why, then, you know.
Well, with DTF, there is no cheap ink. I mean, there probably is, but I mean, most of the inks are the same.
They're close to it, but after like looking and seeing, the one thing is and this is why we feel good about our system, is it's going to work and it's going to get a good product. Even the people here yesterday, when we popped that first design and they felt it, compared to other samples that we've gotten, we feel good about this.
I've seen some of those samples and they are shitty.
Well, they're
bulletproof.
Yeah, some of them are bulletproof.
They are terrible.
And that could be a thing if you're printing for law enforcement. Maybe, you know, that's something you want to put in there. And we've got you know, our package is complete. In other words, the computer, the CAD-Link software, that is all part of this package, so that it can be as turnkey. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
It can be as turnkey as possible.
Complete with a table, electricity.
Yeah.
All of it.
We'll bring an electrician to drop your line in. But no, I think a lot of that's important to
heat press. I want to work on heat presses with this whole thing. I know there's some, I'm visiting all these shops. I see a lot of different heat presses out there. That's the next thing I want to work on is a decent heat press, even for beginners. Let's get the two platens and one heat press. You can move it side to side. Something good. I want to look into that.
Yeah, for sure. Because those two in the heat press world, people get by with just cheap manual clamshell heat presses all the time, and that can get you by. But for the best results, you need something that you can measure the pressure. Not saying that somebody hadn't made their fortune with a
iron,
a clamshell or their little cricket scenario.
I see some on Amazon a good bit. It's like a weird little, almost like a little, that thing in Olympics where the ice, they take that little ball and they roll it and they take the brushes.
Yeah.
I've seen heat presses that look like that.
Yeah, like the little.
They just do that little thing.
I know, and it's just not consistent.
Yeah.
How do you feel good about that? Now, would I use something on that? Like if we were trying to take DTF and we were going to put it on, maybe a backpack or something where there was just a little space, then those are perfect for something like that, because typically those are a polyester, and polyester is easy for transfers to stick to compared to like a cotton scenario. It's just, I think plastic is melty and sticky in nature. And that's true with plastisol transfers too, and vinyl cut. So I would use one of those for that. Or if you're a home crafter, you're going to get away with that all day long. But if you're doing production where you're cranking out 50 DTF transfers and you're doing production, the side-by-side, the return on investment is just the labor save.
And the heat presses, knock on wood, they got a pretty good long-term shelf life.
They do.
They've got to have something really bad or something beat up, or somebody in the factory did something, just one thing wrong for them to mess up. Heat presses should have a pretty good lifetime warranty.
Yeah, and you want to buy one that's industry proven.
It'll last you, and like you said, you will get your money back on the heat press because they last.
Yeah, and the time save, especially with the double side by side, and that's going to come off the tail end of this DTF project. I'm sure that, but once again, we're going to test. We've got to prove this to ourselves before we're going to say like, hey, everybody, this is great.
The heat press, you just throw that out there. We're good to go with whatever on that one. But testing on the DTF, we did a lot of testing. So that was good.
Yeah, and the install actually,
I thought it was easy.
Yeah, it was a lot easier. I'm scared to death of this thing, because you're just like, oh, it's the unknowing. No. And it's not like I didn't have the customer's perspective. I had the perspective as I may have to be doing this, so you want to know every little facet. And when you don't know that, and so over the last couple days, at the very least, I got a little better feeling of like, hey, this is, this isn't as bad. And now I'm more excited about it.
I thought it was easy. I thought all the innards of this machine was easy, taking it apart, taking the ribbons out, taking the head out, using the dampers, throwing them around, throwing inks everywhere, ink spilling, dripping in the machine, clean it off, keep rolling, keep going. Your capping stations, throw some water in there, clean that. I think it's a pretty simple, easy machine to design. Only thing that I don't know, which everybody knows if they follow us, is I don't do software or Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever you're using. I don't do it. But the actual program that runs that machine or that reads to each other is a pretty simple program that actually reads a machine.
It's in depth. That Hosen soft.
Is that the RIP or is it CAD-Link's a RIP?
The CAD-Link's a RIP,
Okay,
and then the controlling, the machine control.
You got to take your Adobe Illustrator file, throw it into CAD-Link, right?
Yep.
And then send it into HoSoft?
The Hosen soft just runs in the background.
Let's call it HoSoft.
HoSoft?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the HoSoft software, it's the first direct link. So it's the conduit between the RIP and the machine. So when you need to make an adjustment on registering the white to the colors, that's going to be done in HoSoft. All of your head checks, all of that is going to be done within that software. And that's very important because the manufacturer of the control boards inside the machine is the same producer of that control software.
So what other people were saying while we were doing this install was they were all saying the machine's dumb. It doesn't know what's going on, but the HoSoft is what tells the machine everything to do.
Yeah, and then the machine alone can't do diddly squat.
Yeah.
So every time you fire up the machine, then it's still dumb until HoSoft tells the parameters that you set in there, your margins, all of it is coming from there. And then CAD-Link, the reason why we went with CAD-Link is because it's just a well-known software, and then it has lots of options for setting up the profiles, and it just goes so in depth. It's almost like Microsoft Excel, where you'll never learn all of it.
Oof, yeah.
But if you need to get in depth, deeper with it, it's there. If you're like a huge business and you need to do some automated type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be the other side that will definitely, a lot of the videos and that kind of stuff is going to help people maximize and shorten their workflow. And CAD-Link's going to be part of that because of the ability to get your files in and efficiently Tetris into the queue. And it's one thing to say like, yeah, this print's good, but you need to be able to stack up like we were doing with the Tiger print yesterday, where you're stacking them up and fitting them in. Like it's like playing Tetris.
Yeah.
You're trying to maximize your.
You can put all kinds of crap. You can put little miniature.
Yeah.
Things in between all that. So which is the gang sheet. So.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we went with the CAD-Link.
Interesting.
Yes. These are fun times for us.
I don't know about fun times. It's kind of annoying. I don't know who made this. They could have just kept it simple and
yeah, just push a button and they come out.
All these DTG whores just had to make something different.
Well, this is a lot better technology than the straight up direct to garment.
Yeah, no one really liked that. We never liked it.
Yeah,
so it was not anything that we liked.
Yeah, just the pre-treatment and all of that, and
we at one time and this was 2008, 10. We were selling DTG machines and all that crap. Maybe in 2006, 2004.
Which model was that? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
Was it the brother or one of the Epsons, or it wasn't the fabled T-Jet, was it?
I don't remember, but I mean, we were around that whole game a long time ago. It just wasn't anything that we liked.
Yeah, I think the cost of the inks, the speed, and believe me, there's people out there that have them, and they're like, yeah, but you see what's happened to that technology. It turned it turned industrial with like the Polaris and the big Xeons of the world, where it's a huge investment at that point because you're doing print on demand. And so the promise of a little single one in your shop, and that being the way that you're going to produce, that was sort of a false promise. And that's where at least I feel comfortable about telling the customers, like, this is how you can utilize this machine in your shop, especially if you're an established screen printer. It's a game changer, and you're probably already losing business to this technology. So,
or losing money. Not.
Well,
you keep the business, but then you're just doing more work.
Well, I'm saying that the short run multicolored stuff, this is going to, maybe you turn that's what I was doing when I was running the auto shop. I was turning away business that there towards the end, before I came to Texsource, I was bringing that back in. How was I doing that? DTF. And then I said, okay, now this is viable. Yeah. And I didn't, as a screen printer, I didn't like it. You know, Anton didn't like it. He's like, Anthony. I'm just making up names for him now. He didn't like it. And he was like, man, because we're screen printers.
Yeah.
We want to feel screen printing, but it goes beyond that. And now that it's been out for a while, he was impressed. You know, yeah. He saw what we did yesterday, and I could see that look in his eyes, like, well, maybe this isn't, you know,
maybe I'll trust it.
You're going to make money with this. Yeah. And that's the bottom line.
Well, anyways, it's been a while. Again, 3 months traveling to shops. I've seen a lot of stuff out there. Waterbase is getting a lot more questions about Waterbase. It always seems like people ask about Waterbase during summertime.
I don't know why.
I don't know, but being out there and traveling to shops, I've had a lot of Waterbase interest. Everything's automation, which has been going the way forever, but all shops are automated now. It's
people want to print Waterbase until they figure out how what they got to do it.
It's easy.
Well, once again, if you know how to do it, but people will, you know, lots of people question about it, but a lot of people don't. I mean, what percentage of the shops that you go into is just a straight Waterbase shop across the line?
Not even
1%.
I won't put a percent on it, but I was like one shop or two shops that I know of.
Yeah.
A complete Waterbase only. I mean, there's none really that way.
Yeah, it's an all or nothing.
But there's a lot of inquiries about it, and we're getting that out there.
Yeah.
And anyways, I was just talking about like what I've started to see, but like I said, a lot more Waterbases going on.
Yeah. At least on the Inquisition side, the Spanish Inquisition.
No, there was people buying it. There's people buying it.
Yeah.
But there was some stuff. There was one article I read not too long ago, and I'm going to bring some of this up to you and see what your thoughts are. I don't know. I know who wrote this article, but do I have to tell who this article is, Adam? Or just tell them kiss my ass?
Kiss your ass.
Okay. What's something you hear all the time in the industry, but you think is actually BS? And some of this is, here's one that you have to DTG to do print-on-demand fulfillment.
Okay.
Another one is free screens. Making screens costs money. That one didn't make sense.
Free screens? It
was in quotation. Free screens.
Meaning that you don't have a screen charge?
Yeah, or that the customer is... yeah, exactly. Basically, the premise is around no screen charge.
You don't want to have screen charges ever.
Yeah, and then they're saying making screens costs money.
Sure it does. You wrap it in your print price.
Yeah. But that's
because you're keeping it simple for the customer.
Yeah, well, back in the day, it was always you got your screen charges, your art
film charges, art charge. You charged them more in the extra stuff than you did for the actual product.
Get a couple extra $400 or $500.
Yeah,
on top of it.
Well, and that's why people that still do screen charges, people want to hear one price.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A customer wants to, how much am I paying per shirt?
It's like an entire print shop. How much is this going to cost me to get all my equipment? Here's your one price, including freight, which freight's always F's everybody.
Yeah.
But same with the DTF. We have that one all-in price. Everything is included in this one price.
Correct. It makes it simple.
Here's another one that says, and this article was published 2 years ago. So this is a little bit of an older article that I've had sitting around. But again, what's something you hear all the time in the industry, but you think is actually BS? And this next line said the industry will be all digital soon.
Yeah, total BS.
So 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not all digital, but it's definitely going at least another 40, 50% that way.
But screen printing is always going to be there, period.
Here's another one that says, once you get used to water-based, it's as easy as plastisol.
That's bullshit.
You think?
Fuck yes.
No, I don't think.
Well,
I think it's not as easy.
Talk to someone who's run it, you know, like for anything that can dry up in your screen.
Yeah.
Plastisol, I can literally, I have some screens set up down there right now. I haven't printed for 2 months, and I could go down there and print a damn shirt.
At our Georgia branch, we would teach classes. Those MFers wouldn't clean the screens out, and they would teach. And this is 5-6 years ago that we found out. We would have another class 2 months later. They would never clean the screen out. They would leave the screens lined up on the press with the ink in them for 2 months
and get them all dusty in there.
And then they would teach the next class, and then with the same setup.
Yeah.
Which that was a lazy way out, which is not what they should have done. But yeah, what's your point? Yes.
Yeah. Try doing that with water based.
No, yeah. Well,
or try printing water based.
So then
humidity is
correct. Dissecting that exact thing. Once you get used to water based, it's as easy as plastisol. It's correct in a sense, but at the same time,
if water based was that easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yep. Let's see.
I like these, by the way. I had no idea you had this.
Here's one that you would only know because I don't. DPI. So it says DPI when they mean PPI. And retarders for water base don't work or aren't worth it. Used properly and precisely, they are a godsend. So yeah, the retarders, that would be correct. If you use it properly, they are a godsend, they help. But this whole DPI when they mean PPI, I don't know what that means.
It's just a common thing that you're going to say because people want to hear dots per inch. Uh-huh. I think dots per inch is related to printers, how they print out DPI, but pixels per inch are literally the tiny little dots.
I was trying to figure out what the other P meant.
Yeah,
pixels.
and
I was going to say points per inch.
Yeah, pixels per inch. Huh. And I do it. You know, I say it all the time. The other one you hear all the time too is a raster image and a bitmap image. And I've made that mistake where I've called an image a bitmap image that was really a raster image. They're both made out of dots, but a bitmap is either black or white. A raster image is anything with, a scan with dots, a photo, if you will.
Learning something new, DPI versus pixels per inch.
Yeah, and then your lines per inch, the LPI is the dot size or the frequency, it's even called. So people toss those terms around. They don't mean much at all. In our world, screen printing and everything, the art needs to be 300 DPI, PPI, whatever you want to call it, at full physical size. That's what works. That's the standard you need to send your art at, and the standard that customers, break all the time, and they send you postage stamp and say, "Here's my logo printed on a shirt," and it's the size of a postage stamp.
Yeah. Here, let's see another one. Let's see if I can find a good one. Some of these are kind of pointless, but one says cost of entry in the business is low.
Is this a true or false?
Well, it's saying it's still the same thing. What is something you hear in the industry all the time, but you think is actually BS? They're saying cost of the entry in the business is low. It can be low. You can be as cheap as you want to be, but your production or your product is not going to be as good.
Yeah, and it's look, you can be in the industry and not have any equipment at all.
Yeah, source it all out.
Yes, so
cost of entry in business is low could be true. It's not BS. It's true because you source it all out.
Yes, because the number one thing that trumps everything is sales.
Yeah.
If you can sell it, then worry about getting it, printed. But you can buy the biggest shop in the world with all the gadgets and everything.
If you don't have enough in the print or to sell.
Yeah. So, but this is where, back to DTF, this is a different entry point for some people. And that's why screen printers need to protect their business by being involved in this. I mean, that's my personal opinion. If you're a screen printer and you've been getting along all these years and you're not looking at buying DTF, then I think you're going to fall behind.
I was going to say you're effed.
I think you're losing money. You're going to lose money. That's just my opinion.
I was trying to get you to cuss. Like, you're actually effed.
Yeah, you're fucked.
All right, so here's one. I'm reading who said this. I'm not going to say who said it, but we all know who it is, and I'll tell you afterwards. So again, it is a question. What is something you hear all the time in the industry, but you think is BS? You can't get paid up front. Thousands of shops have moved to this way of working, and they are much better for it. So I guess they're saying you can't get paid up front, but they're saying thousands of shops have moved this way, and it is working for them.
Yeah, I mean,
that one's stupid.
Well, a mistake that people often make is not charging the customer at least some sort of deposit.
It's third or second bullet point down. I'll let you read who said that.
The second. Okay.
I just saw that too.
When are some of these guys going to just, go off into the sunset? And they're going to be saying that about me too someday, and that'll be okay.
There is a little. You can see where there is a lot of people aging out. It seems like this year and last year, there's a lot of people in the industry that's been in it so long. It's always happened, but
yeah,
there's about 15, 20 of them. That's a large number, but
and there's also this. I'm not going to put anybody in the crosshairs, but I know that there are people out there that are so-called experts in this industry that have never really done it.
Yeah.
And it makes me angry because I've had comments even on my own stuff where what's the phrase? You got to help me out on the phrase, those who can't teach or something like that. I mean, have you ever heard that phrase?
Those who can do, those who can't teach.
Yes.
Or coach.
Yeah.
Say it again.
It's
those who can do, those who can't.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Or coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that,
yeah,
I'm not going to lie. That hurts my feelings a little bit because I've had that comment where, somebody's just being a troll, which you're going to get on the internet anytime. But there's some truth to that. There's some truth to like, where did you come from? And a lot of people don't know your backstory, but when you know the backstory of some people that are the experts and you're like, you're internet smart, dude. I'm trenches smart. There's a difference. There's a difference there. But yes, take a damn deposit, 50% at the very least, 100% for new customers and 50% for most of your customers. And then your biggest customers, put them on terms if you feel comfortable with them.
So again, those who can do, those who can't teach, I'm going to throw everybody under the bus and say these trade show classes.
Yeah, there's some good people in there.
There are some good ones, but there's some dumpy ones.
Well, there's some that just play the politic of kissing up to impressions or whoever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're the travel trade show circus.
And we'll see what happens. You don't know this, but I'm going to tell you now. I've applied to be a speaker at the DTF Expo.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm not kissing up to their ass.
You going to wear a Texsource shirt, or is it going to be a screen printer Mike
You're
shirt?
not allowed, if you're a speaker, you're not allowed to sell anything. But they're going to know that I'm Mike from Texsource, right? So, I mean, there's the value there. Like Texsource has, the guy that can talk the best bullshit. And they asked me what I was going to talk about. And do you know what I told them? And this is probably why they won't have me on there. And I said, well, what I would talk about right now is going to be different from a year from now when you actually have this.
Yeah.
Right? And they're either going to appreciate that and say, hey, get that guy.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be like, oh, he's not, we'll see. The organization that's running this, I have nothing against. I'm glad that they have these conventions.
So is it like a convention? It's just like a media company, and they just try to control what you say.
Well, some of them are, but this
media-ish type.
Yeah, because they're not selling magazines anymore, like the old days. Remember?
Oh yeah,
when everybody had the magazines, they pile up.
Printware, Graphics Pro. I enjoyed Printware. I mean, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I did too. In Impressions, I bet Texsource used to place ads in the back of those magazines.
Yeah, I was doing all those ads and crap.
Yeah,
Printware. That's
I'm
the only good
they're
one.
Still in publication.
This one's got the Gauntlet 3 on it. That's really old.
Well, employees need something to read while they take a shit.
February 2017.
Yeah.
Yep. I like Printware though. They were good.
I mean, there's definitely some cool things in there. I mean, the modern person is staying up on the internet and all the latest podcasts, which I was told that one of the screen printing podcasts is they announced that they're not going to do it anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Was it Robin? Were you in the conversation? Last call for
Plastisol, or at least that's what he said.
Yeah.
No, they're still doing it.
No, he said that they said that this is like the last one, or they're not going to do it anymore.
They did it on the thing, like live.
Robin.
That's Robin. We don't have to.
I've not confirmed what he. I mean, he talks to them a lot.
Robin. He told me that. I mean, he told it. I mean, he wasn't like trying to bullshit me or anything.
No. Sometimes Robin just talks.
Sometimes.
All the time.
Are we like an hour and a half deep into this?
56 minutes.
Okay.
Let me hit one more of these. Let me see if I can find a good one. I might start doing more of these. Like,
I was hoping you were going to bring out the thing I saw in Robert's office, the test that you used to give people.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
that's a really good one.
How many questions was that?
I don't know.
We're working on it. It's like 150. Yeah, we're working on it.
You're doing it?
Yeah.
But he's wanting to redo it or retype it, or
redo it, and because some of the questions don't exactly make sense.
There's some BS. Yeah,
yeah,
that's fun because he's gonna put everybody in the conference room and take the test. So
we got to do the. Tell me when he asked me one of these.
Oh, they went back and forth.
And it was similar to the Abbott and Costello routine, but it would have definitely been good podcast material. At some point, because I was blind, I didn't see them.
So what we're talking about is here at Texsource a long time ago, there was a test that was created to give to customer service because customer service has to know what the hell they're talking about when they're talking to the customers. So a test was given at 1,000 billion%. No other competitor in the world has ever created or done this. No other screen printer in the world has this. It's like 100, was it 150? Or was like, are you
some versions had, there was one like 150, maybe that. I think I saw another one's like 200.
Was that part of the hiring process?
No, it wasn't a hiring process. It was just trying to train, stump them. I don't know.
Or to see where their weaknesses were? Is that what it was for?
No.
Well, I mean, like where they need, like
where they need help.
Obviously, Susie Q doesn't know what the hell.
More or less just saying, you get your grade, or you like just shitty, have no clue, or you have somewhat clue, that sort of thing. Yeah. Anyways,
where I was arguing
for everybody that's listening, we have a test.
We have a test. We need to update that test.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
but the old one, it was hilarious.
Yeah, and the questions. Yeah. Anyways, let me see if I find one. Well, screw it. I'll do more of these later on. Because I got tons of articles saved that I like and that I still read, but I'll bring some more of those out.
So I guess we're gonna have to stick a fork in this one.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Robin and see what's. I don't know what he's got saying about Last Call for Plastisol. I like the name.
Well, let's steal it from them if they quit. No, I'm just kidding.
We probably just get them in here, or we'll go to them. It's not far away, Rock Hill.
Yeah, I mean, we need to put them in the hot seat right here. We got to bring them into our.
We gotta have more space.
Yeah, well,
because you got Chrissy and Jeremy. That would be two of them.
Well, we'll put them here and here, and then
it also has to be on a Friday afternoon, lunchtime,
because they're drinking.
We're drinking, and then we got to sober up to drive. Sober up, keep this party going throughout the whole day.
Yeah,
I won't stop.
We could pull off 4 people. Might have to like set me in a chair off to the side.
Maybe like Mexican food, some tacos, margaritas.
Yeah, we could celebrate their,
demise.
No.
I meant like celebrate the fact that they were doing this and ask them like, why'd you guys stop?
I don't think they stopped. I think no.
Call Robin on the phone.
I ain't calling him.
I could call him and put him on speakerphone.
No, because he don't know. Dwayne of all people will know, because Dwayne was just in their shop and Dwayne called me and has talked to them. So the Last Call for Plastisol is still running. Okay. Yeah. Unless they announce it on the thing, it don't matter. But yeah, we get them here, keep them rolling, keep them going, keep Last Call for Plastisol going. I mean, it was another little avenue for people to hear.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the first thing. And podcasting is just keep doing it.
They're getting massive. They're starting to get more massive. Not Last Call for Plastisol, but they have their own shop. They're getting really, really deep into specialty printing, like some hardcore puffs, and I forget some other bases that they're using, but they're moving around with some of these specialty prints. Side note,
which makes sense because that's part of this DTF conversation, is as DTF squeezes the industry from the bottom, and then the big boys with the Polarises and the digital squeegees start squeezing from the top. What is left for screen printers in the middle? And that's exactly what I would be focusing on.
Specialty
is I'm going to be doing stuff like discharge and specialty stuff that other people can't.
Grab that and make that one little snippet of an Instagram thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like you said, you're getting squeezed. DTFs, big guys. What does the middle guys do? They get into DTF, but they also need to, exactly what you said, discharge, specialty prints, puffs.
Yes, because if you're just the average shop that can do the average stuff, you're being pinched right now from both sides.
Yeah.
So find a niche for what you're doing. Almost like Yabok, being Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
That we can't call him Puff Daddy anymore, but he specialized in working with brands. And
he was acquitted of all charges. He's fine.
He was acquitted. It doesn't mean that he wasn't guilty. We know this in the American criminal justice system. But that was how he found a place in our industry.
Yeah.
Is he knew Puff like no one.
So ended on that. Watch yourself, find a niche. The squeeze is coming.
The squeeze is here.
Squeeze is here, yeah. Find a niche, make it work for you, and keep pushing.
and reach out. We know all the secrets.
Exactly. Like I said, been a while. We'll get back to it. No traveling. I lied. I'll travel next week. But,
no, you're leaving me here alone.
But we'll get back to some of these. I'm gonna pull some of these articles that I have. I got a lot saved. We can run through some of those as well. But again, how do we end this? I forgot how it's been a while. Just say bye. Is that what? But didn't we have like some kind of outro, Adam?
Not really.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks for watching. See you next time.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye.